So you're debating if you're going to go with USAA, or you're with them and you're wondering if you should stay with them. Well, today we're going to dive in pretty in depth on several companies that have done reviews on them, and I'm going to give you my personal opinion. If you've watched any of my previous videos, USAA is pretty ranked up there. They're one of the top companies as far as the AM Best. They're one of the top companies as far as JD Power and a lot of these other ranking companies. But they're starting to fall down a hill, and we're going to dive into that a little bit more in depth today. Hi, I'm Mark with Think Insurance. If you are new here, thank you and welcome. The thumbs up button helps me the most. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon so you don't miss future videos. And if you love the information, there's now a new feature that I turned on, which is the super thanks. I think you can donate to the channel. I appreciate you guys watching either way, and let's dive right into this. So founded in 1922, USAA started military only, and they've stuck with that. I believe there was like 25 military personnel that were insuring each other's vehicles for risk, and that grew into multiple lines of products. We're gonna go over a list of some of the things that USAA does at the end, and you're gonna see just how much information or how many products that USAA offers. Mostly people are looking at the auto, so we're going to dive into that the most as far as getting the data and the details. They're ranked really high over almost every company, but they don't show up in the rankings. And the main reason is the biggest con that USAA has towards their group is that they don't let anybody join. You have to be part of the military. You have to be son or daughter of the military, parent of the military, some sort of family blood related relative that can get you in the door with USAA. I've got some family members with them, and they've been happy for the most part, but they're lacking in the claims department. And they're having some struggles with that right now, along with some of the tech pieces, which we will also cover in this video. More so going to the asterisk, that's the only reason that they're not ranked number one in a lot of the rankings. But the problem is that a lot of these rankings are older data. And so when you're looking at the today, you should really look at the reviews that people are more recently leaving and if they're in your area. Because USAA might be amazing in Texas and not in Alabama. So you have to determine what area that these reviews are coming from, because there are different levels of service. Essentially, there's nothing super exciting about them as far as the company. There's no special programs or additional coverage that I've seen that makes them shine over the rest, apart from certain discounts that you get for being a military person or having your car on a military base. You get a discount for that. If you have young drivers, they're going to also give you discounts for that as well, because they want to keep the military family together. On top of, they donate to military programs. So for those that are in need, they're also helping back to the community. And if you're like any military personnel, I commend you for being part of that, because I don't think I'm good enough or strong enough to join that part. I just don't have the mental strength to do something like that. So you, by far, are on my pedestal either way. But I think USAA may not necessarily be a fit for a handful of people that are joining them. Now, the article that I started reading was on Forbes, and I leaned over to Wallet Hub for a few other pieces, as well as the Advisor and a couple different websites to get some comparisons and some feedback, so we could at least show you guys just some different opinions versus just the one company that ran one specific scenario. And in this article, they actually gave a really favorable ranking, but you're going to notice that USAA, where they were uber competitive in the past, it's not so much anymore. When you look at their pricing based on the national average, they're about $1,111 per year compared to other companies like Geico, who are $1,221. So about $100 difference between that major company. But when you're younger, the Geico is going to be the better fit in most cases. State Farm came in about $1,400-ish, and we had Progressive coming in a little bit higher at $1,800. Once again, depending on the state that you're in, Progressive is massively growing, and they're tech trended and they're customer focused. They're 3 steps ahead of where you're thinking you want to be in the future, and they're preparing for that. USAA is playing catch up on the tech trends. So they're going to find a rough spot in a few years where they're not going to be able to keep up unless they make a pretty major change. As far as good drivers, a similar scenario where they were about $1,190 a year and Geico was $1,384 for the year. So they are a little bit cheaper in that area. State Farm was $1,403, and then Progressive for some reason was way out of whack at $2,075 based on the $100,000 per person, $300,000 per accident, and $100,000 for property damage coverage limits. That's assuming that you do comprehensive and collision, and most of these guys do $1,000 deductibles on their quotes, even though they don't say it in this article. If you get a speeding ticket, USAA loses a little bit of their grip here. They do not love that fact. They're at $1,676 a year compared to State Farm, who's now at $1,713. So you're only about a $40 difference between the two, and State Farm does offer a handful of pieces where USAA isn't competing. I'm actually working on a State Farm versus USAA video soon, so don't forget to subscribe and turn that bell icon on for that video. The other ones are Geico came in at $2,490, and then Progressive came in at $3,070. So in these cases, it looks like Progressive is losing in just about every scenario until we get into the drivers with DUIs. State Farm came in the most competitive, USAA came in second, Progressive came in third, and then Geico came in fourth. Same scenario with drivers without insurance. If you don't currently have insurance and you get caught with it, USAA doesn't hit you as hard, neither does Geico. They're about $1,268 versus $1,390, which is Geico. State Farm is $1,551, and then Progressive is $2,279. I challenge the article that they're talking about this. I don't love Progressive. They're not my favorite company, although they are a powerful company. I think these numbers are a little bit off based on the location. So my guess is this is in a state, probably Texas, that they aren't as competitive. I would say for those of you that are watching this, you may want to think a little bit more towards Progressive being in that second to third slot, because I think that they are also impactful. And the reviews are a little bit higher as far as the turnaround on claims, which we're going to dive into in just a moment. So essentially, leaning over at my Wallet Hub, they're saying if you're 18 years old, you're going to pay about $130 a month. 21 years old, you're going to pay about $77 a month for just basic coverage. And then your 45-year-old is going to pay about $53 a month. Once you get a speeding ticket, if you're 45-year-old, you're going to go about $58, so not a big difference. If you're 45 with a DUI, you're $153. If you're 55, you're $52 a month, and you're 65 or older, you're $53 a month. So essentially, there's some pretty good rates. They also offer a new program that they started using, which is called their Safe Pilot Insurance Program, and I'm going to link the video up here where I did a full review on them. I'll kind of cheat and tell you some answers here. You should watch it either way, but it was lacking. And the biggest complaint was it was just the data wasn't there, the tech piece wasn't there. And so a lot of people were frustrated with the system that they were trying to get a discount on. Some people called it a bait and switch, and it just didn't give them the discount that it should have. That also leads us into the discounts, because that's a very powerful piece. And USAA has some unique ones that I think are really good, that if you're in the military, you're gonna like this. They have the safe driver discount, so that's normal. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whenever you don't have claims, no tickets, no accidents, you're a clean driver, you're gonna get a discount the longer you go. They offer a defensive driving discount, which you can honestly throw that away, because if you're not willing to take a course, it doesn't save you much money. Most of the time it's not worth it unless you get a ticket, because then that helps overcome not only the points with the state, but it also helps you get a little bit of a discount to overcome that big rate increase from the ticket. They do a driver's training discount for those that are younger drivers. They'll have that for people that are in the house. Good student discount. If you get an average of a B or better, you're going to get a discount for that as well. New vehicle discount, so you're going to get a little bit newer vehicle. You're going to get a cheaper price, along with if you have more cars, you're going to have a multi-car discount, which everybody does. Annual mileage discount, so if you drive low miles. Vehicle storage, and this is the unique one, where you can save up to 60% on the vehicle when it's in storage. So if you're on a military base, is the biggest key to it, and you store it there, they're going to give you a very large discount for that. Now, part of the discount that they say is not really a discount. So a chunk of it, you're going to see about a 30% decrease in general, because when you put a car in storage, you're going to take that liability portion off. You're not driving it, so you shouldn't be liable for anything. And so that's going to knock about 30 to 40% off on its own. And then you're going to get an additional 15 to 20% off just for keeping it on a military base where it's likely more safe than if you didn't keep it there. Now, the caveat to that I forgot to mention is if you're on deployment. So that's another piece to it. They offer a family discount. So if you have children, they're trying to appease that piece of it because there are a lot of younger drivers starting to pop up. The length of the membership that you've had with them, and then you get an installment discount. So if you're paying in full versus paying monthly, you don't pay an extra fee, which most companies charge $3 to $5 every month for that additional piece. Before we dive into the reviews, there's a couple things I wanted to mention. Is you should watch one of my biggest comparisons. I actually did USAA versus Geico. If you want to learn more about that, I'll link the video here. But let's dive into a couple other things that they offer. They do dental insurance, they do farms and ranches, life insurance, major medical insurance, small business, travel, vision. There's a whole bunch of stuff that they do. Their app has gotten decent ratings, so they'll let you pay the bill on the app. They have these deposits that you can do. You can go to local ATMs. They have ID cards that you can get access insurance right on the app as well, and you can report claims on there. Unfortunately, that's the part where they're losing. So great company, great prices in a lot of states, not all of them, but they are really struggling with their more recent claims that are happening. I'm going to read you a couple reviews here that some people have said, and these are the first things that popped up. I went into Wallet Hub because I wanted to see why they were ranking them so much lower. On average, they're like a 4-star, 3.5 to 4-star, which is pretty good out of 5. And Wallet Hub was teetering just below that 3 mark, and they had 2,880 reviews. So I jumped in there just to see, and they kind of give some background. JD Power gave them a 4.5 out of 5, so they loved them. Reviews on Wallet Hub gave them 3.0 out of 5. NAIC gave them a decent rating. Better Business Bureau gave them a B+, which is not good. That tells you that there's complaints, which is common. Better Business Bureau is a normal spot for people. And then the AM Best, which is more the stability of the company, gave them an A++, which is like the top. So they're stable, they've got money. It's a matter of not whether they have money, it's whether they're willing to pay the claims with the money. So an older one that popped up first was October of 2020. Tree fell on their house. Their rain is pouring in, but they can't get a hold of somebody on the weekend. So either it's a miscommunication on getting the phone number to call, or they're just closed on the weekend. I'd love to know if you guys know that answer, and leave that in the description below. Karen in November said, do not trust USAA, worst customer experience. I've been with this company for a couple years. Continue to see my policy rates going up monthly, which is what I'm also hearing. And when I question agents about this, it's always a different story. So they don't really know or aren't trained to explain your insurance rate went up because your insurance score changed, or the vehicle changed, or we had a rate increase. That's something that all agents should know, that they can explain. It's not always the best answer. You don't always love it. I don't always love to say it, but it's the truth. And at least you know, and you can make the best decision for you. This was a really good one. Another complaint, April 26 of 2021. I've been a customer of USA for about 30 years. In the past, I've found them to be courteous, helpful, and unfortunately, I recently submitted a claim of hail damage to my car, and I've been immensely disappointed by the experience with them this time. These helpful customer service seems to have vanished. Getting the status of the claim has become arduous ordeal. Arduous and arduous? Okay, you'll have to let me know what that means. I'll just say an ordeal. Trying to reach the live person is a gargantuan chore, and the person I finally talked to was rude, argumentative, excuse-ridden. Such a disappointment, for the company has been touted as one of the best. And there's a lot of these. They go on because you got to imagine every 5 people, you're getting 2 to 3 that are saying negative. One's the worst experience I've ever had, and these are the ones that are in order. I'm not sorting these in any specific order. Totally totaled my car, didn't offer what it was worth. They made me jump through hoops to get my settlement. Never had this insurance, never will. Very upset on how they treat people. Which extremely frustrated with the company, point where I'm canceling all services with them. 35 years, was a victim of fraud in November 2020, and now in June of 2021, it's still not removed fraud. So there's a lot of problems where USAA isn't keeping their promise as far as doing the extra steps, which they used to. That's the crazy part. Their rates have been going up a little bit. Their claims service has gone down quite a bit. I am a little bit saddened because I liked to see USAA in that #1 spot. They are and can be an amazing company. Just be careful what you do if you do join them. I'm not saying they're a bad company by any means. I personally would do some reviews in my area, but I wouldn't necessarily shy away from them because they have had a good track record. Just make sure that your area isn't one of those ones where you are getting those bad claims and those issues like a lot of other people are having. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I'd love to hear it below. What have you found? Have you been with USAA for long? Have you had great experience, bad experience? Either way, we'd love to share whatever you found. If this video was helpful, definitely give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, I'm Mark with Think Insurance. I'll see you in the next one.